Cheeky Prince Louis leads the Princess of Wales by the hand on his first ever Christmas Day walkabout in Sandringham as he meets well-wishers with his elder brother and sister, Prince George and Princess Charlotte. It was undoubtedly Prince Louis who was the star of the show as he made his debut walkabout in Norfolk this Christmas. The Wales children captured the hearts of a nation on Sunday as they joined their parents and King Charles for his first Christmas walkabout as monarch. The royal family greeted the crowds who had gathered after they attended the traditional Christmas morning service at St. Mary Magdalene Church. Despite the chilly, overcast Christmas morning, Prince Louis donned shorts and long socks under his navy coat as he was guided up to the church by the Princess of Wales, wearing a green coat and a wide-brimmed Philip Treacy hat, complete with a feather. Little Louis cheekily guided the Princess of Wales through the crowd and waved at the cameras, while his older siblings smiled politely and greeted the crowds which had gathered outside Sandringham Church for a glimpse of the smallest royals. It is not the first time the youngest prince has been the center of attention, first stealing the hearts of the nation at Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee earlier this year when he pulled faces and covered his ears during the royal flyover. But he was on his best behavior for the morning service, pausing only to look back and give the crowd a cheeky grin as he approached the church steps. At one point, his elder brother George, 9, leaned over and whispered to him before they stepped inside. After the 45-minute service, which started with the national anthem and "O Come All You Faithful," Prince Louis and his siblings joined their parents on a festive walkabout to exchange a few words with those who had gathered outside. They were greeted with a round of applause from the well-wishers. Later, he joined his brother and sister to shake hands with members of the public who had gathered to share their best wishes on the first Christmas the royal family will be spending without Queen Elizabeth following her death in September. The mischievous young prince also picked up a Christmas gift from a feathered Santa toy from a well-wisher, which he carried with him while his mother, the Princess of Wales, spoke to a young girl who had come out to say hello. Prince Louis appeared confident as he wished Gemma Clark, 42, a Merry Christmas and was given a toy gong, a festive gnome with a Santa hat. Ms. Clark, who was in a wheelchair, said it was absolutely brilliant to meet William and Kate and their 3 children. "I love them to bits, especially the children. The children are amazing," she said. "He's always cheeky, that Louis is, but I love him," said Ms. Clark. "All 3 children wished me a Merry Christmas. I gave them a gong each, and they said thank you very much. Then I gave Prince William a bouquet of flowers." Catherine looked stunning. "I also met the king as well, just for a brief minute." She said she gave each of the 3 children a novelty toy called a gong, which is like a festive gnome with a pointed hat. She's also gave flowers to Kate. And Louis seemed to enjoy the attention, getting so caught up in it he was at one stage forced to run to catch up with his big sister Charlotte. Ms. Clark, who suffers from cerebral palsy and uses a wheelchair, is a regular at the Sandringham Christmas service and was present for Prince George and Princess Charlotte's first walkabout in 2019, when they were aged 6 and 4. Ms. Dyack said, "We were here to see Prince Harry when our children were small and now they're all grown up, so it was great to see Prince Louis, who wished us a happy Christmas." Before, as the royals walked into the church, a sweet moment of brotherly love was captured on camera as Prince George reached out to guide his youngest brother, who has taken part in his first ever Christmas Day walkabout, a big milestone for Louis, who stole the show during the late Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee celebrations in June. His Majesty appeared in high spirits, and smiled and laughed as members of the public passed on their well wishes to him and the rest of the family. Charles was joined by Camilla, the Queen Consort, at the head of the group, while the Waleses walked just behind them. Visitors had their bags checked and were subjected to stricter security measures after the king had eggs thrown at him twice this year. Today also marks the first Christmas at Sandringham in 2 years after the late Queen stayed in Windsor for Christmas 2020 and Christmas 2021 due to the coronavirus pandemic, and the first time the family is spending the holidays since the death of the late monarch. Members of the royal family were greeted outside the church by the Reverend Canon Dr. Paul Rees-Williams before they climbed the steps to the church, and the national anthem was sung before the first hymn, "O Come, All You Faithful." This year's gathering at Sandringham is the first time the royal family have spent Christmas at the private royal residence in Norfolk since 2019. The late Queen had spent the festive period at Windsor Castle for 2 years in a row, in 2020 and 2021, due to the COVID pandemic, before her death in September this year. Traditionally, royal Christmases at Sandringham feature a turkey lunch at the house before the family settle down to watch TV, which this year included Charles's first Christmas broadcast as monarch. King Charles III had used his first Christmas speech to pay tribute to his late mother and thank the public for their messages of support following her passing earlier this year. Queen Elizabeth II was clearly on King Charles II's mind during a holiday tradition that is so heavily associated with the late monarch. On Christmas Day, the King's first Christmas speech was broadcast across the nation. For many, it will be the first time that Queen Elizabeth isn't the one making the address. Making the first festive King's speech since 1951, the new monarch said he remained deeply touched by the love and sympathy you have shown our whole family following Queen Elizabeth II's death in September. I am standing here in this exquisite chapel of St. George at Windsor Castle, so close to where my beloved mother, the late Queen, is laid to rest with my dear father, the King, 74, began his speech. I am reminded of the deeply touching letters, cards and messages which so many of you have sent my wife and myself, and I cannot thank you enough for the love and sympathy you have shown our whole family. He also took the time to sympathize with families struggling during the ongoing cost of living crisis and praised charities and religious groups for helping those in need. The monarch appeared to be grateful to members of the public who had shown love and sympathy in the wake of her death in September. Royal family shared the clip King's heartfelt speech to their official Instagram account on Sunday, captioning, "Christmas is a particularly poignant time for all of us who have lost loved ones. We feel their absence at every familiar turn of the season and remember them in each cherished tradition." In a pre-recorded address from St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle, where the Queen was laid to rest alongside her husband Prince Philip, Charles said, "I am reminded of the deeply touching letters, cards and messages which so many of you have sent my wife and myself, and I cannot thank you enough for the love and sympathy you have shown our whole family. Christmas is a particularly poignant time for all of us who have lost loved ones. We feel their absence at every familiar turn of the season and remember them in each cherished tradition," he continued. NPV Magazine is the best source. You will find everything related to your favorite members of British royal family, the latest and fastest news about them. This channel does not seek to prove truths behind the curiosities, theories or events of history. My primary goal is just to entertain people. I wish you see the fun of the news. If you like our videos, please subscribe channel and click the little bell button to receive the latest videos.